This conference will now be recorded.
It's Monday, January 20th, 2025, 7 p.m. We have a public hearing on the comprehensive plan amendments. And is Mark online? Yep. Mark, do you want to run over the highlights?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. The comprehensive plan was last updated in 2022. As part of that update, the town introduced an every other year plan amendment cycle that began in 2024 with requests from the public and from the Plan Commission for a handful of amendments to the plan. As a result, there was a recommendation from the Plan Commission to amend the plan. The amendments include some changes to the future land use and transportation map. Those would better delineate the quarter-mile radius from the village of Cottage Grove, which has implications for the town's transfer of development rights program. And there's also a minor amendment in the North Star Road area to designate some additional territory for future commercial development. There were other amendments related to goings-on in and around the town. They included amendments related to the county landfill, both updating the status of the siting of the new landfill and developing or suggesting some general landfill-related policies for the town. In the same general area, the village of McFarland had updated its east side plan. That plan extends recommendations into lands that are now within the town of Cottage Grove. The plan amendments would acknowledge that and reiterate the town's interest for a boundary agreement to better sort out lands within that area. The next change would adjust the transfer development rights ratio from 8-to-1 to 10-to-1. That means that for every development right someone who is in the planned neighborhood development area acquires, they would be able to develop 10 additional homes, or 10 additional homes, yes, within that neighborhood development area. There were some minor amendments to promote dark skies in the town as requested by a landowner. The Plan Commission also advised additional standards and images to beef up expectations for commercial development, generally along and near North Star Road. And then finally, based on a property owner request, there have been amendments to slightly loosen up the allowances for holding tanks for commercial development only as a system of last resort, in concert with the county sanitarian and other staff. And the Plan Commission, some language was revised. That's a summary of the changes. There's an ordinance before the town board tonight that would have the details on what those changes would be. I'm happy to answer questions in response to the public hearing. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Are there any questions? Is there anyone online with questions?
I have a couple of typo things.
Okay.
I mean, they're minor, but page 2, the third paragraph from the bottom of the third line, it says town of Cottage Grove is to be paid, and the town of Cottage Grove is to be paid an annual siting fee.
Okay.
Minor. And then on page 7 in the grid, the comment section of solid waste disposal. Comment, town desires to be actively involved in the continued planning and implementation.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Any other comments? I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The Cottage Grove Town Board will hold a public meeting immediately following the public hearing. You can join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. The meeting was posted on the website and out Town Hall. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the minutes from our January 6th meeting that was in your packet.
Move approval as presented.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the minutes for January 6th as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is finance report and approval of bills.
I move approval of checks 37,632 through 37,662 be paid. And we make EFT payments totaling $16,228.16.
There's a motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger for approval of checks 37,632 through 37,662 and the EFT payments of $16,228.16. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You have the December building permits.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the December building permits as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You also have your unaudited cash and investment balance of $9,263,639.33. And you have the January court report. Anything else?
Just per diems by February 1st. From the treasurer standpoint, just collecting taxes.
Is it still busy?
No, it's trickling now and picking up right up.
Okay. Moving on, next item is public concerns. Public's opportunity to speak to the town board about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Anyone online? Hearing none, we'll move on to review the December police activities. Jen is here.
We've been busy. There's nothing significant that stands out in December. Just 217 total calls, 148 of those were contract only. And citations, 82 and 107. And when I write contract included in the summary, like if we write any criminal traffic, it does not count as a township citation. So we actually write quite a bit of the all county. It just won't show up in the contract because it doesn't go to our court. So other than that, that's.
It's always been that way.
Anything that's a non-criminal civil forfeiture will come through you. But anything else that's state of Wisconsin will have to go downtown.
Yep.
So people like it when we stop them so they don't end up on CCAP because your name will never appear in a municipal court on there. It'll only be if it's written in the county of Dane or state of Wisconsin. So
So you had an animal bite?
I did.
No, there's one on here.
A dog bit a deputy when we were trying. There was 2 dogs that were sitting in the middle of Highway 12. Just wandered and then sitting on the yellow line, right where it becomes 2 lanes on the east side. And a deputy tried to put them in their car, and I was right behind him. And as soon as he grabbed one, it must have been sensitive and got him. So. Not terrible. It was, treated on the scene, but like, yeah, that was the only animal bite that I know of.
And we did have a sex offender move into the town.
You did see
Yeah.
that.
I don't know that they're in yet. I know that I was doing notifications. They might be.
My understanding is
I thought he was coming on the 9th.
That's possible. I had to notify all the houses. I physically was knocking on doors to make sure that they knew, and then getting contact information just so down the road, if it happens again, we don't have to knock on every door, but sometimes there's renters or other people in the area that aren't familiar. So we're trying to make sure that everybody is aware this is where it is.
Yeah.
We did too. We sent letters.
Then you had it, did you have it on the website too? Or?
We had it on the
Okay.
website, yep.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any
Stay
other-
warm.
Yeah,
Keep up the good work.
yeah, appreciate it. Have a good day.
Next item is discuss and consider adoption of, not a resolution, but of an ordinance, 2025-1-20, amending the Town of Cottage Grove Comprehensive Plan.
I would move approval of ordinance 2025-01-20 as presented.
Motion by Anders, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Williams to approve ordinance 2025-1-20, amending the Town of Cottage Grove Comprehensive Plan. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Is Mark still on?
I am.
Mark, this is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Something you should probably keep an eye on is the county's revising that CUP process. And if you see anything in there that we should make a change the next time we review the comp plan, you should keep that in mind.
Okay. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
because I think that they have it, the ZLR has it on the 28th for a hearing.
Yes.
And then the other thing for you to keep in mind is if we have commercial development next to 12 and 18 and N, do we want to look at maybe increasing the looks of the buildings compared to what we have through the rest of that development because they would be so visible from the road? If you have a
Yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah, I think what we should do is take a look at the design review ordinance and make sure it's got enough teeth in it to, identify those highly visible sites and make sure that we've got the right standards that the town wants for those sites.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure, and thank you, Christy, for the corrections. I've already made them in the ordinance, and I'll send that off to Kim for the signatures.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Moving on, discuss and consider approval of a parade or race permit for the 2025 Hot to Trot Cottage Grove Run on June 14th, 2025, to include a small portion of Vilas Road and the Glacial Drummel Trail crossing in the town. You have the application, the notification, route information.
Pretty looks to me, if I remember correctly, pretty much same as last year, or 2024.
Yeah,
Somebody here? You are. Okay.
are there any questions?
We did ask for a waiver of the fee and deposit again for the charitable donation. We did forward it to fire and EMS and they didn't have any concerns.
Okay,
Motion to approve
With the waiver of the funds.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the waiver.
with the waiver, yeah.
Okay, motion by Fonger,
Second.
second by Williams to approve the parade or race application for the Hot to Trot 2025 and to waive the registration fee. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And I assume you'll get the envelopes from them to mail? Okay,
Can I ask a quick question, Cindy, while she's here?
okay.
Are you still looking for people to volunteer to help?
Yes, we have no volunteers at this point, so we are registration open today and we are always looking for volunteers. Last year we gave $13,000 to the fire department and I think that brings our total up to $93,000 today. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item, discuss and consider approval of the operator's license for David Callahan.
That's you.
Yes, sir.
And he's here.
Yes, sir.
You have anything you want to tell the board?
I'm not sure. I've never done this before or been to a town meeting. I just, I have a job lined up, so I need a operator's license. I understand the reason why it's, potentially could get denied, due to a DUI. I just wanted to say that, it was my only time ever being in trouble with the law. It was a mistake. I've made reparations of not allowing that to happen again. And that's just not who I am, that person that made that decision. So I don't know exactly what you look for in your decision, but.
Question for you. Did you have a operator's license from any place else in the state?
Yes, sir.
July of 24?
I had one in Deerfield, Wisconsin.
And where now?
I have one in Deerfield,
Right now, though.
No,
correct,
in
as far as I'm aware.
What?
July.
As far as I'm aware, I got it in July, so it's still.
No, I'm saying, where are you gonna have a job now?
Norris
Norris.
Tavern
At Norris?
on 12.
I did confirm that he does have a license with Village of Deerfield that's current. It was originally issued last July when the license year begins.
But your OWI is totally complete, over.
Well, I'm still paying off the ticket, and I have a class set up that I had to take from the court. Other than that, it's over.
You took the alcohol assessment?
I took the initial part and I'm scheduled for a class.
It says it's completed.
I'm sorry.
It says on your form it's completed.
Well, all the process up to now is complete. There's nothing I can do until I take the class, but it's all set up. I've paid for it. I'm registered for it. Just waiting for it to begin.
When is?
And I get I have a a driver's license. My original driver's license gets reinstated in March.
So you do not have a driver's license
I
at
have
this time?
an occupational license. I'm a patrol officer with Madison College, so I needed to get an occupational license. So I do have a driver's license, yes, just not a regular one.
But in July of 2024, you were employed as a bartender?
I was, yes.
Should have known better than driving.
Yes, sir.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Williams to deny the operator's license for David Callahan. Discussion on the motion.
I still, I sort of disagree with that still, because I think it's up to the owners of Nora, and they hire somebody that could cause a problem. It's their problem. And they're the ones gonna pay the price.
I do just want to say also, folks, I'm a good citizen. I don't cause problems. You know, like I said, I'm a patrol officer at Madison College. I volunteer coaching for my kid in Stoughton. I made one mistake. I mean, this is one of the ways I make a living. I understand your concerns, but I can guarantee you it's not ever going to happen again. I know a lot of people probably say that, but it will never happen again. Thank you.
And
Well, anybody
6
can
months
make
out.
one mistake though. I mean, it's,
Yeah, but it was only 6 months ago.
yeah, I understand.
Is there any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Sorry.
Let me just say one thing. You can work as long as there's somebody else that has a license on the premises.
That is correct, yes, but that's not what they're looking for. So
Yeah, I'm sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next item, discuss and consider approval of Deer Grove EMS Resolution 2025-1-116. Should be just 16. Should it?
No, that's not.
Oh, 116. Ambulance Capital Purchase Fund Transfer. Is Eric on?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can, Eric.
Perfect.
You want to run through it quick?
Yeah, I don't have it sitting in front of me, but the gist of it is that in 2024, we had $130,000 allocated for the capital purchase of an ambulance, which won't be completed until 2025. We spent all but 17,000, whatever the rest of the numbers are in the resolution, and we need to transfer and place those into a designated fund balance to utilize in 2025. 3 years ago when we went through this, our auditors had said that we needed to make this move. So rather than waiting for the auditors to tell us to do it, we're doing it in advance. So this means that the 17,000 plus that we didn't spend goes into a fund balance and will allow us to utilize it when the ambulance is completed, along with the $150,000 that's in the operating budget this year.
Questions? Motion?
I would move approval of resolution 2025-01-0116, ambulance capital purchase fund transfer.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve resolution 2025-01-0116, ambulance capital purchase fund transfer. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider approval of First Amendment to the Solid Waste Agreement with Waste Management of Wisconsin.
This is because when I went back and looked at the contract, I couldn't find any mention of the annual e-waste
E-waste.
collection, even though it was in the quote. And so this is their answer to that.
Questions?
It looks good.
Basically what we've been doing the last couple of years.
I move approval of the First Amendment to the Solid Waste Services Agreement.
There's a motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger to approve the First Amendment to the Solid Waste Service Agreement with Waste Management. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider driveway inspections tabled back in December 16th of 2024.
So at your spot tonight is a list of the driveways that fire department has determined to be the most troublesome. I marked it up a little bit. You remember that we sent out emails and letters to a lot of them that were on the original list. These were, there were some that we weren't quite sure what to say, and so we didn't and held off on it. And actually, most of them were these. So the ones with stars in front of them have not had any notice yet. The ones with check marks have. So you'll see that we at least have a better explanation, and I think we'll actually mail letters this time. So the question becomes, what you want those letters to say, and how you will follow up and enforce, or I don't know if Nick or April have anything to add to that.
I mean, so the driveways that we pointed out, realistically, I don't know how you would ever fix them. I mean, they're extremely steep, very narrow, like properties are way up on top of a hill. I don't know how you could ever get somebody to fix it to access their property. So we made the list just so it exists and the homeowners are aware of it. But, I mean, I think you send them a notice so they at least know, and they're on, I guess they're on notice that exists, but I just really don't know how any of them would be able to fix some of the driveways that we have right now. Yeah, I guess the one on Erlewin with the chain, that's easy enough to fix, but the other ones on Vilas and some of the other ones being as steep as they are, any snow on those roads, there's not gonna be able to get a truck up that driveway, so.
I would think we would just need to advise them of that difficulty that we would have in the winter or when there's freezing conditions, that we can't get a vehicle up there unless you sand or salt on a regular basis.
And there's some that even if there's not bad weather, that we won't be able to get the engine very close, our smallest engine very close. It'll still only be the brush truck, and then it'll be a length of time before we get hose laid out to help fight fire, just because of the layout of the property. So there are still some that are going to be complicated in nature to access. I think too, we got to think about what the plan is in the future as far as enforcing driveways and checking on driveways and confirming that they're in compliance with the ordinance, and making sure that the fire department is going to be able to access new construction, like houses that are built in the future, or even somebody that might buy a property coming into Cottage Grove or the town, understanding that maybe now they're buying a property that is one of these ones that might have a problem. How do they find that out? So just kind of figuring out where to go in the future with future properties and some of these existing ones that are problems.
Kim, is there gonna be any problems, like, with you notifying these people, like, if they wanna sell their house, that they've
Well, I
got
mean,
it?
it's not like we're gonna do a deed restriction on it that will show up in a title search or something. There's really no mechanism, and we don't know when they sell until after they sell. So I don't know that there's a whole lot we can do about that.
No. You know, I'm all for notifying them, but I would send a certified letter to know that the town is officially notifying them that, A, fire department is not gonna have immediate access to your property in inclement conditions based upon whatever the reasons are. I just think that way, at least we did our due diligence. If they want to do something about it, it probably would bode well for them.
Yeah.
But
So
this
it
way,
would be the fire department has determined, you know, signed from you or whoever, but that the fire department has determined this.
Right.
Mhm.
We'll make sure we run the language by you guys so that we don't
Yeah.
say something that makes things worse for all of us.
so it's just those 4 properties that,
It was
No, this whole list.
7.
oh, the Irwin Road's
A
got
couple
checked
of
by.
them have had a notice already, but we'll send a new one that's more specific. And then Irwin Road is a chain, and so I think that one might be one you might want to,
They're gone this time of year.
oh, really? So that's even worse.
They have a plow company that takes care of the driveway. He's in there when it snows, but that's it.
So, I mean, if that's the case, there's no reason why a private property couldn't have a Knox box, is there?
Right, if we can coordinate a plan with them, like if they can coordinate a plan with the fire department on how to access that property, if there's an incident there, then that's something we can work out one-on-one with them. We just have to have a pre-plan of that property. And
So we'll draft something along those lines and run that by you for that one then.
So I think if you check the sheriff's check, they're one of their property checks.
Okay.
So you're talking a Knox box potentially
Or
for
something,
the,
whatever these guys think works.
trust me, if we can get through the fence, we can get through the fence if we have to get
No,
through
no,
the fence,
I'm-
but that's something I think we want to
I
pre-plan.
think
with
we'd
them.
have to go ahead and modify our ordinance though, if we're gonna start potentially requiring a Knox box for an inaccessible
Well, I don't
residential.
think we would
'cause-
require it, but if they think,
Why
that
not?
if
I
they're
mean-
going to put a chain up, it has to be something that is accessible, you know, that's the thing.
Emergency services.
you could request them to do it. You could, like
Yeah.
in your letter, you could request.
Suggest a possible
Because
solution
that's-
might be a Knox
maybe you should
box.
Put a Knox box.
Yeah.
You know, not tell them they
Okay.
have to do it.
Why does it have to be voluntary? Why can't we tell people?
Because the ordinance doesn't say, the ordinance doesn't apply to private residents.
Well, we can change that.
You can, yeah.
Is Irwin, that's a house?
Yeah.
And they got a chain across the driveway
Just in the winter.
just in the winter?
I mean, it's easy, and we just want to coordinate with
That's
them
weird.
on how to get through it if there's an incident, so.
First one on the east side, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was the one on North Star too, which we really didn't talk about, but they have like, it's a shed out in the middle of a field. And they have a bridge that carries you
Oh,
across
yeah.
the stream that I have no idea what the weight rating on that bridge would be. So we can't realistically take any of our trucks over it without,
They drive tractors full of corn and combines across that.
Yeah.
are they?
So it's a shed with
They take
equipment
their
in it?
tractors and everything right across their Vinnies do.
No.
I think we still want
Usually
to
heavily
know,
rated.
Plane in it?
but
Oh,
I
okay.
think
Yeah,
we want to
got it.
know before we take our apparatus.
He doesn't care one way or another
type of
what happens to it. I mean, if it's a shed, it's not a house, you know?
It's a hangar technically.
Yeah, used to be.
Yeah.
You know, going back to this Knox box thing, I mean, this isn't touchy-feely, oh gosh, let's let the people do what they want. We have ordinances to protect not only ourselves as the township, but also protect people from themselves potentially. You know, and, you know, if somebody chooses to put a chain up, I'm not saying that they can't, but we need to be guaranteed, because we have a requirement or a responsibility to provide fire service or EMS for that matter, or whatever, to that residence. And I think if people want to do that, modify our ordinance, have them get a Knox box, and then the key will be right there. It's no different than any business. The fire department has access or EMS, and we go from there.
Okay, which one, what are you talking about now, the chain?
The one
or
with the guy with the chain.
Yeah,
Or gal, whoever it is.
we're telling them to get rid of the chain. Jeez, it's winter time now, there's nothing in it.
No,
This is a house.
That's what you're, the one with the chain?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has
that's
a
a
house on it.
I thought it was a shed.
No, that's a different.
That's one of the
That's the
bridge.
bridge.
No, oh, the bridge.
One on North Star Road.
So they live there and they have a chain.
They don't live there.
They're gone in a
Oh,
winter, so they put a
okay,
chain
got it.
across.
Yeah.
But yet they still pay somebody to plow their driveway.
So somebody has a key, obviously.
Somebody's going in and out of there, yeah.
So obviously they're plowing the driveway so that in case the house burns, that the fire truck.
I'm guessing that's what they're doing,
Well,
yeah.
at least it looks like somebody's
Yeah.
living
In
there.
our ordinance, it says that it's required for any property protected by a locked fence or gate. So you got it already.
Locked fence.
Yeah, in that case,
So you got it already.
It's already there.
There's a gate.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, let's use our ordinance to make them do it.
I thought we did that.
The one, this one with the chain?
I thought that we had just added that to this ordinance the last go around. And we
Oh,
did.
yeah.
So if they're gonna put a locked fence or gate, which I think a chain would qualify as,
Sure.
then they can be required to do a Knox box.
Right.
Makes sense.
So we'll just send them that ordinance and tell them they need to coordinate that with the fire department.
That works.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
I don't know about you guys. Don't come up my driveway. You guys are mean.
Yeah, your driveway's in the next road. Wish it gotta be trimmed.
Shut up, Mike.
Is there a plan for future residential developments for driveway inspections on their construction?
I don't know who, I mean, I don't know who should do that. That's what you guys have to figure
We
out.
haven't had any lengths in a long time.
No.
And the one Vinny put in on Nora, that one's about 24 feet wide.
That has the multiple homes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've got that one extra wide.
I mean, so general engineering does your construction inspections.
Inspection.
They could enforce your ordinance for your driveway when they do their occupancy inspection. I mean, that'd be one way to do it.
Thing is that they're built to town specs, but nobody's seen the actual driveway being built. You know, besides us driving by and like, oh, they're putting base down today. Well, I should be notified when they're doing it.
I saw that.
In your driveway ordinance,
Doesn't say anything about that.
doesn't say anything about that.
No.
I don't know if the permit could be modified to ask, just like a building permit asks for an inspection, that there be some kind of an inspection of the driveway at
Like
some
anything
point.
over 100 feet or like what are we talking
I
about?
don't know. You know better than I do.
That's the thing, because we only asked them to build their driveway to town specs over 200 feet, right?
But it also has to be free of encroachments and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, maybe there could be an inspection requirement in that driveway permit that at some point when they think they're done and before they get occupancy or something, that they get an inspection of the driveway. And yeah, I think that maybe General might do it for us, but I honestly think that Dan might have a better perspective of what's right and what's wrong.
Well, definitely on those longer ones too, we need to put something where they notify us when they're doing it, the day they're doing it.
Yeah.
So you can be there to put eyes on it.
So you see how much base they're putting down.
Yeah, see how much topsoil they actually scrape off and.
So we need to look at that ordinance then and see what it needs to be changed in the ordinance itself, and then also modify the permit application and the permit
Yeah,
with all
like their
that.
building permit, it should be listed in there, so they have to notify whoever.
Yeah.
And then when they give the driveway permit, maybe we should do a second sheet or a separate sheet we can give to them.
Address.
You know, that doesn't get turned into the county, it's just something we hand them.
Right, right.
In the county ordinance.
Yeah.
coordinate with Jim,
That's not
you know,
over
to
by
make sure that he's
20% grade.
maybe checking with
It
you
is.
before he gives occupancy or something.
Yeah.
'Cause there's times I give out a driveway permit
Yeah, I'm sure.
and then that driveway doesn't get put in for 3 to 4 months, you know.
I guess between you and I and the fire department and Jim, we should probably work through that a little bit.
And then also, I think, pull the county ordinance that requires or their
Steep
bars
slopes.
for slopes, because they've got a grade limitation also. And I don't recall.
Because I'm
what it
sure
is.
those on Vilas Road, they've been there for a long, long time. They wouldn't have been able to
No,
build there with that new
correct.
requirement because it's too steep. So is there a motion to direct two parties to look at updating the ordinance and the permit to bring it back to the board?
So
moved.
Second.
Motion by Duplace, second by Anders.
Oh, sorry.
Discussion on the
That's
motion.
fine.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Are we sending out notices for,
We will send out notices to
This is
these
the seven,
7.
and
Sir.
she'll run it by fire as to what we say before we send it out, and you want them to go
certified?
certified.
Certified, and the only one we really are gonna try to have some enforcement on is the one that should have a Knox box. The rest of them are just gonna be adjourned.
In bad weather.
It's too steep and slippery.
If you don't take care of it, we can't get there.
I would say in any condition.
No.
I would say in any condition, it's gonna take longer to respond.
Yeah. And especially in the winter, and we recommend that you keep it as open and unslippery as you can.
Accessible.
I don't know. We'll think of something. We'll run it by them.
Okay. Next item, discuss and consider adoption of budget amendment 2024-01.
Tried to explain what I'm proposing. If you have questions, I wouldn't be surprised.
A through H.
I was trying to, through the year, I mean, I keep track of motions that you make, motions that the fire commission makes with use of emergency service building funds to try to keep track of those for a budget amendment at the end of the year. So I was looking in the budget for areas that are out of compliance with the budget, I guess, but because of decisions that were consciously made by either the board or the fire commission and trying to clean those up.
Right.
I didn't dig very deep in the line items. I tried to stick with just the major categories because, you know, if one little line item is off in a department, but the
It's the
department is
total,
under
but-
budget, I don't think we care. And then some of the other things, I mean, every year, I have to write that management discussion and analysis that goes with the audit report. And those kind of things are what tells the story of the year. Those give me, you know, something to talk about to kind of describe what happened that was unexpected or expected or whatever. So I don't think there's much else that needs to be looked at, but if anybody had something, be sure and bring it
I
up.
thought it was fairly straightforward myself.
Yeah, I went over what came after she had it. I didn't have any questions. I remember we did it all. So.
You want a motion?
Yes.
I would move approval of budget resolution 2024-01
as presented. Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve budget resolution 2024-01 as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider approval of engagement letter for the 2024 town financial audit. Have a copy of it with Johnson Block in this packet. Pretty much same as we've had the last couple of years, so. And they start February.
We're gonna work remote on the 6th and be here on the 7th. I think that's Thursday and Friday, right?
Be out of town.
I'll make sure I come in on the 7th because they'll want to talk to me. Questions?
And move approval of the engagement letter for the 2024 town financial audit with Johnson Block.
Motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Williams. To approve the engagement letter for the 2024 town financial audit by Johnson Block as presented. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Kim, how much different is it than last year's,
Price?
I
Was
don't know off the top of my head. Well, it's probably in the stuff here, but it's the scheduled amount that our quote was. This is the last year though, I believe, so we'll have to decide if we're gonna
okay.
go out to bid or whatever, but yeah.
Public Works Department, activity update, road right-of-way permits issued.
I think I mentioned last time, we had one that wasn't paid for yet, but 3850 Galloway, new house going in there. They're just running
Didn't see
power.
that going up.
Yeah, they're running power under the road. Hopefully they tried to get it in already, but if they didn't, it's gonna be a little while. They might have strung one across poles too. Hard to say for now, but that's the only right-of-way permit. And then we've been a little light of snow
Yeah,
lately, so we've been keeping ourselves busy.
saving on salt.
Yeah, that's not good though, because we gotta get a bunch in yet this year. But we did a little update at Flint Hall, put all new lights in the banquet area. We replaced, we took all the ballast out and put in new LED bulbs so that they don't need to ballast anymore. Energy saver, and it's just a lot brighter. Looks really good in there. Did a few things at the town garage too that needed to be fixed. Finally, now we got a door that's not working right again. I'll have to get that, call the garage door guys tomorrow.
Oh, if you're going to call him,
Yeah.
at the old town garage, those side weather strips on the overhead doors?
Yeah, I asked him about that a while ago. He hasn't replaced them yet.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll remind him. Yeah, because you said something to me probably in like, I want to say September, wasn't it?
Or before.
And he said they would just get hit it on one of their off days,
Yeah,
or one of their slow days. But I'll call him again. I gotta call him for that tomorrow anyway, so
yeah.
yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, that should have been done. I guess I never followed up and checked on it. Other than that, yeah, we were trimming trees till it got brutally cold. Now we've just been working on stuff. I gotta get the tractor up tomorrow and replace all the knives so it's ready in spring. Figured that's a good thing to do in the cold. Yeah.
Any thoughts on the brine? If work works or not, heavy?
We haven't had a really good snow to tell yet.
I know.
I mean, that light little snow we had here not too long ago, where it was like an inch deep or whatever, you can see it penetrate through the snow and actually melt it. We haven't, like I said, we haven't got a chance to test the actual
Did see
packing.
on Sandpiper. it
Yeah,
Melted pretty good.
We haven't got a chance to check the packing part, where the cars drive on it and if it'll still plow off or not.
Yeah,
But it seems like the cars open up the road faster, I think. Like it melts the snow a little quicker, for sure. Even this cold, powdery snow seems to work. So, but it really only works for like that first go. And then by the afternoon, if it's still snowing, it's pretty much done.
yeah.
So it's basically on contact, and then everything after that's.
It lets you, if you're sure you're going to get some, you can apply it that up to 48 hours.
You can go 48 hours ahead. Yeah,
Ahead.
you can do it. The guy at Dane County said we can put it down 8 hours before the storm, even and it'll work great.
Yeah,
But yeah, 48 hours is about the earliest you want to put it down.
right.
If you put it down too early, it dries out.
Yeah.
So
How much have you used so far?
Cause I noticed that there
Think
was a
we've-
bill for it.
yeah, there should have been a bill in there for 2 fills.
Yeah.
500 gallons both times, so 1,000.
So 1,000.
How many roads do you hit? Do you
We've
hit
been
it-
doing
do you
quite a
try to
few.
do everything, or
No,
you can tell, you can see where it's done.
yeah. So this side of town, with the traffic side we call
Yeah.
it, the west side of town, we hit pretty much everything.
Yeah.
As much as possible, except subdivision, side streets
Yeah.
and stuff. We do the main trunks through, and then the east side, we're basically right now just doing hills and our shaded areas because it gets a lot less traffic.
Okay.
We've been told that too by a few people that use it, that it just really doesn't get the if it doesn't get the traffic, it doesn't work. And then I talked to a guy from the town of Oakland down by Cambridge,
Yeah.
and they do the pre-wet on the salt. And he said that same thing. If you have a heavily traveled road, use the pre-wet on your salt coming out of the truck, and that seems to activate it quicker. But if you don't get a lot of traffic and you're just throwing granular in the ground, it's best just not to wet it
Yeah.
on the roads that don't get a lot of traffic. They say it stops it from bouncing more, though, wet down, but a lot of guys say it bounces regardless. It's just what you're accustomed to.
I think it works pretty good.
The brine seems to be working good.
What does it do with ice? Does it form ice?
We'll find out. We don't know yet.
That should be the biggie,
Yeah, if it'll keep it from bonding to the road.
Yeah.
And they got the furnace fixed in the old town garage?
Yep, on the 10th. Yeah. It looks nicer. But the venting hopefully is fixed right.
Yeah.
He said he didn't know what happened there.
Okay.
It was leaking moisture back in the building pretty good.
All right.
Yep.
Moving on, clerk treasurer office update.
Yeah, they're coming Friday to install the keypads here in that Flynn Hall. So we'll have those working, which will be great. And the keys will still work for a while. So we're gonna give everybody a heads up and a code. And then at some point we'll have a locksmith come out and change all the keys so that your keys, your master keys will still work, but there's another key that is just an entry key, and that's what we give to renters and scout groups and Lions and everybody else. Those keys aren't going to work anymore at some point. We'll put in a little grace period in there to make sure that we get codes out to everybody, but we're looking forward to that. This door here, the lock is getting worn out, I think, and like through the day, once in a while it locks itself and people pound on the glass to ask us why the door's not open. So it'll be nice to be done with those headaches and just the headaches of chasing keys around. So looking forward to that. We do have a primary on February 18th. It's State Superintendent of Public Instruction and Monona Grove School District School Board. So we're starting to get geared up for an election. A lot of absentees are coming in because Monona Grove does have their spring break that week, which affects my office staffing a little bit too, but we'll get through it. So anyway, like we talked about, the audit is the end of the first week in February. Again, I got a lot of work to do to get ready for that yet. So.
What? Don't you looked at me.
Okay, moving on, board reports and communications. We went to Dane County Town Association meeting. Good discussion on the changes to CUPs.
Long discussion on that.
County exec was there and talked. I think that was about it. The highlights. Had a Zoom meeting this noon with Wisconsin Policy Forum. They had been hired by Sun Prairie to look at collaboration between fire and EMS.
That's right.
Oh, no, they want our pocketbook.
Well, that's mainly what I said at the beginning, that they just wanted our money because they're too far away from us to be first responder, and we have mutual aid with them. And
what more do they want?
Money?
No, they never actually said, but a fire chief said, well, we used to work very well with their fire department, but it's changed over the years. They don't want to train with us anymore. They just want to deal with training with the city of Madison. So we're kind of out of their call, probably because we're volunteer and they're not. EMS brought up that, well, we could collaborate with them on purchases of ambulance or repairs to ambulance, because they have their own repair shop and or purchasing of medication. Anytime they wanted to do that, all they had to do was ask. And they never have, so I don't know what they want, but they had the village, Cottage Grove Village of Deerfield, and the town, because Kim forced them to let me know.
Well, I got the impression that it was mainly just that Wisconsin policy group doing their due diligence. They're doing a study for them, and they wanted to reach out to the neighbors, basically, and it seemed like they're just doing their due diligence. I don't know that anything was really meant to come out of it.
Yeah, they're just looking for opportunities. They don't know what opportunities exist unless they ask the question.
Yes. Go ahead.
I said they're just looking for opportunities to see if there's ways that we could work together and maybe save money in our operations. But they don't know what those opportunities are unless they ask the question.
Yeah, why didn't they just call you and say, hey, could we do this? Could we do that?
This isn't commissioned by Sun Prairie Fire. It's commissioned by the city of Sun Prairie.
Yeah, but they didn't start it. They came from fire and EMS.
No, it came from the mayor and the city administrator.
And where did they get their information?
Well,
question. They got it from fire and EMS.
Sure. We've been talking informally all along, but informally that doesn't make anything go. By having the city be involved, I guess I'm not going to be able to justify this to you guys. I don't think it's going to be a problem. We're going to give them information. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't need to do a study if they wanted to farm out their repair capabilities.
Chris, for the city of Sun Prairie, the study is much bigger than the information they're asking us. We're an ancillary piece to the city of Sun Prairie study. The city of Sun Prairie study is asking them to help locate fire stations and a bunch of other stuff on how to optimize their own internal operation. We're the opportunity for collaboration to see if there's ways that we can streamline not only our own operation, but save money.
Eric, who's gotta respond to the Amazon warehouse?
What do you do?
That's us, Cottage Grove.
Ours.
It's us.
Yeah, it's up.
It's Village of Cottage Grove.
The only part that's Sun Prairie is actually the school district. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Sun Prairie School District, because the school district boundaries don't follow township boundaries as a general statement.
that's fact. That's not general, Mister.
Okay. Committee reports, emergency government?
And we had a meeting. I mean, we discussed what we're going to do for the year, basically, and we're going to have the representative, a new one at Dane County. The other one retired.
Yeah.
And this guy's name is Andrew Beckett, and he's already got us some information on different things.
Is
already.
he coming out to talk to you?
Well, I'm gonna call him and see if he can come out and we can discuss
Yeah.
what's going on.
Plus, we got all the other towns around us.
Yeah, we get all the information of the towns around us, and the more I look at it, it looks like a lot of them don't have an emergency government at all, so it's almost us and the villages and stuff they do generally, but the towns don't seem to have it.
Having co-op and
Yeah.
hydrate were the driving factors for us.
So if we may
have
be able to
something.
get them to look at maybe doing a little more planning.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're not gonna have major fires or not many hurricanes or anything. And, we're
Just a
pretty lucky
tornado.
living right where we're living, let me tell you.
Yeah.
We decided that at the last meeting, we voted on it.
Okay.
It's nice to be in Cottage Grove.
Yes,
Wisconsin.
yeah.
Deer Grove EMS.
The Deer Grove EMS ended the year with 5.7% call volume increase. The total was 1,477 more than the previous year. In 2023, it was 1,351. In 2024, it was 1,428. We've already taken action on the capital purchase fund transfer. We did the evaluation of Eric, and
We're gonna keep him for another year?
we're going to
Went
keep
well.
him. Yes,
Went well.
yes.
Good.
Actually, the majority of the staff members that were interviewed for the evaluation by members of the commission said he's the best chief they've had. So he's very well respected and appreciated, so.
Is that on the report?
Yes, it's on the
Okay,
report.
it better be.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Cause I like Eric.
He's gone.
Oh, is he gone?
He's still there.
No, I'm still here.
Oh,
Watch out, Mike.
pretty sneaky, boy.
I'm recording this whole conversation for future use.
Good move.
How are we about getting paid for the calls? Are we doing good, or
It could be faster and they're working
are
on
we
it.
doing good getting the money basically, or?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Chris said is we hit our expected target. Our billing company got sold basically a couple years ago, and we had a final transfer from one to the other. We used to be with LifeQuest out of Watoma. Now we still have an office in Watoma, but the parent company is called EMSMC. So they made some boldish statements about how they go about business, and we're making sure that they back up those bold statements. We had a goal of 900,000 as gross income, and we were at like 1.2, almost 1.3 million, if I remember correct. But that includes, that gross income includes bad debt. So I like to look at, when we say we're going to have $900,000 in gross income, that's 900 actual dead presidents in our hand, which we achieved this year. And hope that we can expand the extra $120,000 to meet next year. We have an increase in call volume. We expect our call volume to increase again. We're on pace for 1,600 through the year so far. There's all kinds of factors that affect our ability to seek reimbursement, and a lot of them start with the federal government and how Medicare and Medicaid reimburse us. So how their policies, not only at the federal level, but how they transfer to the state level, especially with Medicaid, affect how much we physically get paid. We could bill $2,000 for a run, which is about close to our average ALS bill. For Medicare, we're going to get about $800 of that. And for Medicaid, we're going to get like $500. So we take a pretty good haircut just from having 60% of our clients being Medicare and Medicaid.
So that's where we have to be activists with our federal government and not let them cut, but encourage them to increase. Because it affects the Deer Grove bottom line.
Yeah.
All of our bottom line, obviously.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that we can talk about here in Wisconsin is the GEMT money, the Ground Emergency Medical Transport money that the federal government has given to the states, but the states have to pass a way to distribute it. They've been working on it in Wisconsin for 2 years. We've finally gotten federal approval of the plan, but we need our state legislatures to pass it. There's some thoughts that being Republican controlled, that they're not going to pass or push through approval of additional federal monies for ground ambulance transports.
Well, that's the problem. They're always working with the federal money. How about the state money? Why aren't we getting reimbursed from state for what we're losing?
State doesn't pay.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, but they don't pay. That's the problem. They always wait for the federal money to do this stuff, and it takes forever to get it. And then they get the legislature to do something, and the governor generally, they don't get along. So.
Yeah. And of course, if you know the insurance industry, you know that when the federal government or CMS makes a decision and has a plan and a route that they're following, the other insurers follow that same path. So private insurance companies can be at times as difficult to get payment from as the federal government. They pay better, but generally not as quick.
But they expect the customer to actually reimburse the rest, basically. But I'm sure that doesn't happen very often.
On private insurance, yes. With please don't take offense to this on the board, but you know that with your copays with Medicare, they don't pay those up front anymore. You have to pay those pieces. And that's been a little bit of a difficulty for us as well, is that those that abruptly had the change to not like every invoice having a copay affixed to it has become a little bit difficult as well. And I'm really surprised we haven't seen more hardship waivers requested because of that change.
Okay, we're still hiring?
Yes, we are. And we've had
We
excellent dates.
hired all 4. So the 4th accepted the offer Sunday, and she'll start on February 19th, excuse me. So that'll be the 4th of 4 because of the 2 that we had in the budget to move from casual to full-time, and then the 2 folks that resigned that were full-time members.
All right.
Move we adjourn.
Wait,
did you have a question or anything? No. Okay.
Move we adjourn.
Motion by Duplay, second by
by
Williams for adjournment. It's non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I can visualize, these, sure. I know where